That night, mine slept in peace. A night which was supposed to pass by like a nightmare. The next day was reception, a kind of event which usually is big and involves relatives and business circle as well. Yet, Jungkook refused all the formalities. The reception was kept strictly family limited. Only Vine's and Jungkook's family was present the night on Vine's new home at the dinner. Vine had dressed herself up in a beautiful red dress, while the diamonds on her neck and hands made sure she looked like the John's daughter-in-law. Honestly, Jungkook was the one who gifted them to her and requested her to wear them tonight. Vine never thought she ever wanted to rebel against her family, but something about being with Jungkook had changed her point of view. The whole dinner, Vine stayed on the chair, talking to her in laws and occasionally with her family as well, if they ever initiated any talk. Ever, he didn't once talk with you. Did you really make him hate you within the night? Did you suck that much in bed? Of course. Who likes a crippled woman? Vine, I'm sure a man wouldn't gift his wife diamonds the next morning if she sucked in anyway. Vine smiled, running her fingers over her necklace, and that look on Eva's face satisfied her to bones. David, now that we're finally settled, how about we start the work on the Horizon project? Has the collaboration papers prepared? Vine's father asked. That took her attention. Vine's eyes fell on Jungkook, who ignored David. James, that is completely under Jungkook's command. I'm sure he will. Jungkook's father tried, yet he was cut by Jungkook's blunt tongue. JK, I'm in no mood of collaborations. David, son, you must not be aware, but our companies have been in some meetings to join our teams to collaborate on that project. JK, that was before it fell in my hands. Like I said, it's my project and my team will solely handle it under me. I'm not collaborating with any company. Jungkook said as sternly as he could, not using any formalities. That expressions on David's face darkened as he tried his best to stay calm. David, James, what is your son saying? James, I'm sorry, David. I can't make decision. It's not under my control, but I'll talk to him. JK, save it, Dad. Don't ruin my mood. You're going to watch your parents run over me? He looked at Wine and she immediately straightened up as if she was truly scared. Wine, Dad, please, why are you troubling him? If he said he's not willing to take the deal, then you can't force him. David glared at her and Wine looked down. JK, stop glaring at my wife. We're done here. Once you're done with your meal, take a leave. He stood up and crossed his arms. that was when David stood up angrily and stormed out with Eva and his wife. Their faces stretched for many reasons. First, they lost a project which was going to bring them millions. Second, they were respected like never before. And third, they lost their last hope of blackmailing Ryan to get them whatever they wanted out of Jungkook. James, Jungkook, this is not the right way. JK, what? Is this how business done? By forcing a company to make a deal with you? Do you want me to take it legally instead then? That won't benefit them at all. James shook his head and stood up as well. James looked at Wine with a soft look and placed a head on her head. James, if you ever need anything, you can always tell me. Never hesitate. Wine, thank you, Mr. John. I'll always remember that. James smiled and Jungkook's parents left as well, and Jungkook groaned as he plopped down on the chair like the most innocent soul ever. JK, congratulations, darling. You're free now. Wine chuckled and rolled her chair near him. Wine, that was an extreme method, but I believe nothing else would have ever worked on them. JK, they won't ever disturb you again. If they still do, tell me. I'll see them. Wine, but you don't want to handle your father's business. Now, because of me, you'll have to oversee this project. I heard it's quite huge scaled and will take years in production. Jungkook smiled and placed a hand on her cheek, which felt such a warm affection touch. JK, I was alone before. It didn't matter what I did, but I told you you're my wife now. My responsibility. Of course, I'll do things to keep you safe. JK, and no matter how long it takes, it's only one project. Not like I'm inheriting the whole business. It's fine. One closed her eyes for a moment as she rubbed her cheek against his palm once. One, do you play games? JK, Overwatch? One nodded and Jungkook picked her up. Within a day, she got so used to being in his arms, it became second nature for her to be carried like this. Jungkook had a whole separate room dedicated for gaming. He had such cool consoles and controllers, huge LEDs, and every sort of technology, including VR gaming. One was too impressed to see the whole setup. It took her half an hour of feeling and excitement each time she picked up a new device to scan, and afterwards they played the game and laughed and screamed for the next 3 hours, competing with each other. Wine never had any friends. Her family always considered her inferior, so she never once had fun this way. This was her first time, and Jungkook made sure to make it all look casual. Next few weeks passed by like this. Since Jungkook had a lab at home, he mostly stayed there and left to work occasionally to work on the Horizon project. And each time, Wine made sure to help him wear his tie and kiss his cheek in return of doing that work for her. Jungkook introduced her to his friends as well, whom he was working with on some cool stuff in his lab. They were all young and cool like him. Wine played games with them, and soon enough, they became her friends more than they were ever with Jungkook. Wine visited a lot of places in Jungkook's arms. In the eyes of the world, Jungkook was a spoiled brat who had no manner of speech or of respect, and his wife was a crippled woman thrown in the corner who never once received any affection. In reality, every day Jungkook inched one step closer to his dream, and Wine's inner child healed as she was surrounded with happiness 24 hours in her life. After a few weeks of settling in, Wine showed him her skills, and they started to build something together. Eva still contacted Wine, occasionally sending her pictures of having fun with her friends and shopping, hoping it would burn Wine. Wine only smiled at the text and how little they meant to her. After 1 month, Wine and Jungkook got to meet her parents again over another event. David tried his best to set a deal with Jungkook. Eva tried her best to emotional blackmail Wine into convincing her husband. Wine clearly refused, saying she had no control over her husband, and Jungkook, he even warned David to not blackmail him, otherwise he might have to call his lawyer. All the while smoking. He was as disrespectful as he could be. When they returned home, Jungkook stood in the bathroom for 30 minutes straight as he gargled his mouth. Wine forgot her worry after 5 minutes and only laughed at his dramatic ass. Wine, the smoke went in your lungs, darling. That won't help you. JK, that taste sucks. How do people even smoke? Wine, I told you not to do that anymore, even as a drama. JK, that man is stubborn, I swear. I might as well be begging at this point. One, he has always been stubborn, but now it has started to annoy me so much. Where's that self respect he always forced on me? She huffed and Jungkook washed himself, dried using towel, and walked to her kneeling in front of her. Ziggy, kind of want to put him behind bars for making you go through all that, and by how persistent he is, I know I can make up a way to do that. One, it's alright. It was in the past. I have nearly moved on. I don't want to dig it up. Jungkook kissed her head and cupped her cheeks. JK, as soon as we launch this project, we won't have to act anymore. You won't have to listen to Eva, and I finally won't have to act like I don't care about you in front of everyone. Jungkook and Wine were working on a new technology which was going to set up a base for Jungkook's new company. His dream coming true, and once that happens, his father won't annoy him anymore about inheritance either. Fine, I kind of like it this way too. It's peaceful, but yep, I would really like you to stop putting a wrong face of yourself in front of the world. I want the world to know how amazing my husband is. Someone our children can take pride in. Jungkook swallowed as his eyes sparkled at the mention of children. A smile appeared on his lips and he dug his face in the crook of her neck. JK, I'll always love you, and any blessing you give me in shape of children. One, the only time you want is definitely when they choose Mama over their daddy. Jungkook pulled back immediately with a look of betrayal. JK, they're obviously going to choose me. I'm going to spoil them enough. One, that's not happening, Mr. John. Not on my watch. Apparently, being married to someone I have learned a great deal of manipulation. JK, you are going to manipulate my innocent kids. Wine nodded with a smirk, rolled her wheelchair back, and took off running with a laugh. Jungkook built her a custom wheelchair with a touchscreen panel. All she had to do was touch a button on the screen and the wheelchair would roll accordingly. Jungkook ran after her and cursed his own creation, yet the sound of Wine's laugh was so healing to his ears, he swore he was willing to run after her his whole life if the result was such blessing to his ears and his heart.